Alright, I'm going to be doing a little instructional video here. I'm making the perfect primal pizza. Came about this recipe after a lot of experimentation, and I think it's pretty much the best paleo pizza there is, which is a very lofty claim, but I think you'll agree once you try it. But my name's Micah, and my fiance Ellen Weeks is filming. We're doing a guest post from her blog, a paleo blog, Toasted Bacon, and she is Caitlin's sister. They're both very much into paleo cookery, as am I myself. And having said that, let's get going and explain what we're going to do here. The first thing you're really going to need, and this is an absolute must-need for this pizza, is the pizza stone, which we have in the oven here. I don't know if you're familiar with what a pizza stone is. You can get them probably at Walmart, off the internet, wherever. They cost like $10 to $20. They're not very expensive, and I mean, you love it for a pizza. You go ahead and put that stone in the oven. For this pizza, I find 390 degrees to work ideally. So preheat the oven to 390 degrees before you start working. Go and let that heat up. You want that stone to actually be 390 degrees when you put the pizza on it. So go ahead, let the oven preheat, and then let it sit in there another 10 to 20 minutes before you put your pizza in there. So ours is already good to go. I'm going to show you the ingredients we use here. We've already got everything laid out. We have 1 cup of tapioca flour. You can get this, like Bob's Red Mill makes it. You can get it at most places that sell other gluten-free flours. It's not very expensive, and it's perfectly paleo. It's made out of the cassava root, so it's a tuber. It's gluten-free, grain-free. So I'm going to pour that in there. Then we take a 1/3 cup of Parmesan cheese. I just use the plain old Kraft Parmesan cheese. You can use something fancier if you want, but this powdered kind works pretty good for our purposes. If you're dairy-free, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe you can try it without it and it'll work just fine. I don't know, but I haven't tried that out yet, but it works great with it, I can tell you that. So I put the dry goods in first. 1/3 cup Parmesan cheese, 1 cup tapioca flour. Alright, so we got our dry stuff all mixed up here. Then we're going to go ahead and add our wet ingredients. So we have 1 egg, 1 farm fresh egg here. We'll go ahead and beat that up. Okay, we're going to be adding all our wet goods here. There's the egg. 4 tablespoons of olive oil. Got my tablespoon measure here. Our organic olive oil. I'm not too into exact measurements, so your results may vary. Sometimes the crust is a little bit wet, sometimes it's a little bit dry. You may have to add just a little bit extra flour to make it a little drier, or add just another like tablespoon or 2 of water. I'm going to go ahead and mix this up. Here we go. See what's on there. Because usually I need 1 or 2 tablespoons of water in there. This is looking pretty good. Okay. I'm going to add 1 tablespoon water. Perfect. And then I just kind of use the spatula to kind of knead the flour and just continue turning it over and kneading it. And it should firm up pretty good and get to the point where you can actually handle it with your hands, just like a regular pizza dough ball that wasn't gluten-free or paleo. Just broke my spatula. Alright, that's a danger. So you can see you should be able to pick this up and be able to handle it once it starts getting the right consistency. It's not too sticky, it's just firm, almost just like you're making real pizza. But it's a little bit less sticky than your average wheat flour dough would be. So if it's too sticky, you might just need to do just like a little bit more flour. And then that's pretty good there. And then what we're going to do is, again, this is another must. I've experimented, and I mean, I'm sure there are other ways to do it, but this works really well, and I highly recommend it. Is to use parchment paper. Parchment paper you can put right in the oven, and this stuff works great. So I have 2 pieces of parchment paper here. You can get that again at any grocery store. And just kind of take your dough ball, put it right in the center there, and flatten it out into a circle. And I go ahead and just get I apply a little bit of olive oil onto the parchment paper beforehand. Just like a little teeny bit, spread it out of there so it doesn't stick too much. And I just put a little bit of olive oil in my hands and wipe it on there. And it's not really necessary, but it just helps. I just think it's better. I like olive oil. And that, again, just keeps it from sticking, really. And then another piece of parchment paper here. You lay that right on top. And then what I do is, here. What I do is get a rolling pin and we just roll that out. I like to just nice and gently kind of roll that out there. And my goal is I want it to be about the same size as this parchment paper because that's also about the same size as my pizza stone is. So we just roll that out. Try to get it as circular as possible. That's pretty good there. And then it's a pretty thin pizza. I like it to be pretty thin. Then you see we just peel that parchment paper right off. You see how good that is. And you can actually save the top parchment paper for the next time you make pizza if you want to be less wasteful, which I like to do. And then the bottom piece is going to go right in the oven, so that piece we'll throw away when we're done. But then what I do is I take my fingers and just go around and kind of even it up a little bit. That also helps make a little bit of a crust out of it, a little bit of an edge. So just go up and push the edge up a little around there, kind of get it a little more circular just to make it more aesthetic. Like so. Yeah, mine's not perfectly round, but it's okay. And that's it. And then we're ready for our toppings. Alright, I'm going to apply the sauce. I like to use Muir Glen Organic. You don't have to be that fancy, but they sell it at Kroger's and Whole Foods, places like that. But you can use whatever. But I do recommend this pizza sauce. It's really good. And you just kind of spoon. I like to put a liberal amount on, but whatever your preference is. Maybe you don't like pizza sauce at all, want to do a white pizza. But just put it right on there and just spread it around nice. I do like a very saucy pizza though, so. And a lot of gluten-free paleo pizzas out there on the internet, I know they have you pre-cook the crust and pull it out and all this and that. Not this pizza. It's just like a real pizza. You put the sauce on, you put the toppings on, and you cook it. Nothing to it. Alright. Then, maybe you're paleo and you don't eat dairy. That's fine. Substitute whatever you want to put on there. Personally, I love cheese, and I handle it just fine, so I'm not afraid to put a little cheese on there. Spread a bit of cheese on there like that. And then this is going to be a pepperoni, onion, red pepper, and olive pizza. So again, you know, feel free to put whatever toppings you want to put on. Alright, we got our toppings all put on there. Nice pretty pizza. Personally, I think it's just not a pizza without Italian seasoning. So I'm going to add my final touch of some Italian seasoning here. And then we're going to go ahead and put it in the pizza in the oven on the pizza stove. Now, I mean, if you have a pizza peel, that's ideal. I do not have a pizza peel, and I don't think most people do at home. So, what I do have is a pizza pan, which I think more people probably have. And that helps. You can just pull it. You can just pull the pizza right on the pizza pan like that. If you don't have a pizza pan at home, you can also just pick the whole pizza up by the paper like that. Be very careful, because if you aren't careful, it can fold over on you and ruin the pizza. So I do recommend using a pizza pan if you have one. And then we're going to go ahead over here and place this right on the stone. Be careful, because the oven is very hot. Remember, we preheated 390 degrees. But like I said, you just take that pizza pan and put it right up to the stone. You just slide it right onto the stone like that. And the size of the pizza should be almost exactly the same size as your average pizza stone. Crafty, huh? And then we'll cook it just like that with the parchment paper and everything on it. And I cook it for 20 minutes. So, you know, your mileage may vary depending on your oven, so you might want to check it around 15 minutes or so, but 20 minutes seems to make it turn out perfectly in my oven. Alright, the pizza's ready. Let's see what it looks like. Oh god, it smells amazing. Alright, again, we use our trusty pizza pan here. If you don't have one, just be very careful and lift the pizza up by the paper, but I recommend getting a pizza pan. Just slide it right on there, works amazing.